Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Real or Rumor.
Hello, hello.
Amy was just talking about this crazy trip she took back home when she was there recently, and a great find.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, my hometown, our Kansas City, yay, back in Kansas, and they have a couple of antique stores there. But my mom, you were doing the gardening thing, you know how we do, and she said, you know, I really want to find this for the garden, and I said, fine, let's go down to the antique store.
Yeah.
So we're there,
That sounds like fun.
and as we're walking around, I mean, there's just so much stuff, and the folks that run this particular business have been antiquing for years and years.
Gosh, I can imagine the collection.
They've put 6 kids through college just by their antiquing, and they go all over the world and sell their stuff and buy things. Anyway,
what fun.
So we went, and my mom, you know, wasn't finding what she was looking for, so she asked me. I said, oh yeah, we have that over in this other building. So we went to the other building, and I said, gosh, you own this building? Yeah, we own this building. So
old buildings, you said, old that buildings. Been by and seen all
these,
the time,
these buildings that have been there from the beginning of the city when it started. Just beautiful, 5-story buildings, all limestone. Limestone's a big building item there.
Yeah.
And so then I mentioned to Mom, I said, one of the things I'm really looking for is this petticoat, me and my costumes.
Yes.
So I've been looking for this petticoat, that's like the square dancing one where the skirts really stick out.
Yeah.
And so she mentions it, and she goes, oh yeah, I have several of those, but they're over in this building.
So you took
So we went to another building. So the whole time was kind of this trip through history.
Cool, I think that's cool.
And for those who are wondering, yes, she found the petticoat. She went way back in the corner, was yelling over this pile of items, and she says, well, I have a few, and I'll just pull out the best one and we'll go from there. And she comes out with this glorious, huge petticoat.
Hot
pink.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah,
I couldn't
good.
resist.
And a great deal.
It was a great deal, but I tell you what, I couldn't decide which I was more excited about. The history, going into these old buildings and the original wallpaper and things still being there, or if it was the petticoat. But I was so excited to go in some of these buildings that, have just been there for many, 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 many years. And like the historical part of it. So that was great.
Well, it'll be fun to see what you do with that.
With the
petticoat. Can't wait.
I do actually have some plans for it, so we'll just, we'll have to wait and see. But it was a great trip. It was a success.
Good.
And but it just kind of brings to light some of the history of where I live, and of course, we're doing this show and living here in Greeley. There's a lot of history here too, and
that leads right into our topic, doesn't it?
I did a good job, didn't I?
You did great.
All right, so what's our topic? Oh, I know what our topic is because I'm going to ask the topic. Okay, so going along those history lines, here is the rumor for today. Greeley has a Philharmonic orchestra that is, and I have to look at this because it doesn't seem real, 103 years old.
Well, actually, it's not real. It's 104 years old.
Oh,
to be exact.
I was like, my notes are wrong. What? Okay,
104. The Greeley Philharmonic is celebrating its 104th anniversary this year.
Wow!
I know, isn't that amazing?
That is awesome.
The Greeley Philharmonic obviously has a very long and prestigious history and reputation in the city of Greeley, and you kind of wonder as you start thinking over time and sort of things that have happened over all of that time. How did they survive things?
Well, yeah, I mean,
like just economic challenges. Of course, the recent one comes to mind.
But that would have been the Great Depression.
Yes,
and
2 world wars and just stuff like that. How did they survive that?
Yeah.
And back then, Greeley was a smaller community. Well, it survived because culture is so important to the residents and the citizens of Greeley.
This is true.
That's why Greeley's not really like any other town in that sense.
Right.
So that's why it survived. The orchestra, just to give you a little bit of history, grew out of concerts that were sponsored by the Fortnightly Music Club. Fortnightly Music Club. I know, it sounds interesting, intriguing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very.
This club performed between 1908 and 1911.
Okay.
And from that point, just enthusiasm and interest grew, and from there, the Greeley Philharmonic, GPO, was established. Yeah.
Wow.
Their sort of their early goal or their motive was to provide pleasure and profit for local musicians.
Yeah.
And just to give young people sort of that experience and that training.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and it's always good when you're a musician. You need that venue.
Yeah.
You need that opportunity to be in front of people
Of
and
course.
to share your music. And this was a great way for them to do that,
Yeah.
but then also back then. And
Yeah.
so, wow.
So
that's
100 years
amazing.
ago, the GPO was a cornerstone of Greeley's cultural scene.
Yeah.
It started out really small, but it's
Right.
turned into a 65-piece professional orchestra.
Well, we're a community of what, 100,000?
Yes.
Almost 100,000.
Yes.
So that would make sense. But
Yeah.
65, that's a large.
It is.
That is a really large orchestra.
When you think about how it started,
Yeah.
a smaller community orchestra
and for it to
into
keep
that.
going that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, they've included some of the most accomplished musicians in northern Colorado and beyond northern Colorado.
Right.
And where does a great orchestra like this play, you might ask?
I don't know.
Right here at Greeley's Union Colony Civic Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great venue
It's a
for
home,
that.
it's a house that seats almost 1,700.
Yeah,
It's
just
got
about.
1,700 seats, close to. And that's been the GPO's home for the last 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and that's a really good venue for them. But
Yeah.
especially, it's a place that can handle 65.
I know.
I'm still trying. I'm baffled by that.
Yeah,
The
I
amount
know.
of musicians there. But that just shows, like you said, the culture and the opportunity that's right here in
That's
Greeley
exactly
for them
right.
to do that.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
The center and the GPO's acclaimed music directors, conductors, and musicians have helped the Philharmonic earn a really great reputation, and it's allowed us to host really famous artists right here on our stage.
Yeah.
Isaac Stern, Jose Feliciano, Marvin Hamlish.
Yeah.
There's no B in there if I
Right.
said it B. Hamlish. So
Yeah.
so it's just a great place for them to be and to be performing.
And they want to be. I mean, they could very easily say,
Yeah.
we're not.
No,
so
that's true. They
interested," but
wanna be
They
here.
want to come and they
Right.
want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And that says something.
Yeah.
Definitely.
On another episode of this show, I talked about the photos that I took at DIA of our Greeley Unexpected honorees. What are we calling them?
Sure.
Okay. And the current
Honorees.
GPO director and conductor, Glenn Cortese, was featured.
Yeah,
and he's one of
Glenn.
the photos that I took.
Oh, did
Yeah, he's one of the photos I took.
Yeah.
And when my dad was with me, he's like, he's conducting in Greeley?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Greeley Philharmonic.
Well, and what's interesting about Glenn is he's actually from New York.
Right, and you wouldn't expect expect that. Greeley
But
unexpected.
he has done this for several years. If I got the story right, he lives in New York, but then he comes to Greeley to
That's
conduct
the way I
for
understand it
the
as well.
season of the Philharmonic.
Right.
In Greeley, and
Yeah.
then he goes back to New York. I mean, he chooses to. He wants to do
Yeah.
it, and he's. If I remember again correctly, that part of that had to do with a big part of it was just the quality of the musicians
Right,
here
right.
and the talent,
Of course.
and the UCCC where they perform, and just
the venue's a big deal too.
it's worth it to him.
Of
Completely
course,
worth it,
of
and
course.
that's awesome.
So yeah, you wouldn't expect a Greeley Philharmonic or an orchestra of that stature to be here. You wouldn't expect a conductor of his stature to be here,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the GPO's here and he's here. So we're pretty proud of that, and it
amazing.
just gives you a little bit of history about the Greeley Phil and hopefully gets you excited about going to see a performance.
Well, yeah, hopefully everybody gets to
Yeah.
go out and see that. And
Yeah.
here's to another 104 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Here's to it.
All right, well, in the meantime, thanks for watching us here on Real or Rumor, and we hope you get to see additional episodes, which will be right here on GTV8 as well, or on YouTube.
That's right.
That's right. And until next time, I'm Amy Freeland.
I'm Cheryl Aragon.
We'll see you then.